You booked an Uber to the airport. Nothing special. A 5-star driver, a clean gray sedan, a guy named Walter who talked about the weather for the first 10 minutes. Halfway through the ride, your phone buzzes. A LinkedIn notification. Somehow, autocorrect or fate connects 2 dots it shouldn't, and you realize the man driving you is the same Walter who sold a logistics company 11 years ago for $30 million. He's still driving, on a Saturday, for $340. And here's the part that's going to bother you long after this ride ends. He's not doing it because he has to. He's doing it because of something you haven't figured out yet. You don't say anything at first. You just watch him for a second too long. Same navy quarter zip everyone's dad owns. A travel mug wedged in the cup holder. A worn leather wallet on the dash that looks like it's been refilled with the same $20 for a decade. You ask the obvious question, the one you can't not ask. So what'd you do before this? He tells you, easy, like it's nothing. Built a regional logistics company from 1 truck to 42. Sold it 11 years ago. You do the math in your head before he even says the number. And when he says it, 30 million, after taxes, the car goes quiet in a way that has nothing to do with the radio being off. You ask the only question that matters. Then why are you driving me to the airport on a Saturday? He shrugs. Same reason I've always done anything. Because I like knowing exactly where my money is. You don't understand that answer yet. By the end of the ride, you will. Here's the first thing Walter tells you, somewhere around exit 14. When the sale closed, he didn't buy anything for 6 months. Not a car, not a house, not even a nicer coffee maker. He says most people treat a windfall like a starting gun. Spend fast, prove it's real. He treated it like a smoke alarm. Something to sit with quietly until he understood exactly what it meant. What he did instead, he kept his old truck for 2 more years. He kept renting the same 3-bedroom house he'd lived in during the leanest years of the business. He put the entire $30 million into a mix of index funds, municipal bonds, and a small handful of businesses he actually understood. No crypto, no friends startup, no yacht brokers, opportunity of a lifetime. The money doesn't know it's 30 million, he tells you. It only knows what you tell it to do. Most people tell it to become a personality. I told mine to become boring. You think about your own last windfall, a $4,000 tax refund, and how it became a new TV within 9 days. Same instinct, different zeros. He says the real trap isn't spending the money badly. It's spending it fast enough that you never get the chance to find out what you actually wanted versus what you thought $30 million was supposed to buy you. Give it 6 months before it changes anything, he says. Most people give it 6 hours. Mid-ride pattern break, he asks you a question first. For once. You ever notice retired people who retire and then fall apart within 2 years? You have, actually. Your uncle. 6 months after retiring, he seemed 10 years older. Walter nods like he's heard this 100 times. Money solves the money problem. It doesn't solve the Tuesday morning problem. This is move 2, and it's the one that surprises you most. He didn't quit working. He restructured what work meant. He sold the company, but he kept doing the parts of it he actually liked, driving routes, talking to people, solving small logistical puzzles, and dropped everything else. Payroll, investors. 6 a.m., calls with vendors, in 3 time zones. Driving Uber on weekends isn't a financial decision. It's the last surviving piece of a job he used to love, with all the parts he hated surgically removed. I could golf every day, he says. I tried it for 4 months. I was miserable in a way that scared me. This, he taps the wheel. This is just me, driving a truck again. Except the truck's smaller, and somebody else pays for gas. You think about your own job, the parts you'd keep if you could burn the rest to the ground. You've never actually made that list. He has. That's move 2, knowing exactly which 20% of your work was never about the paycheck, and keeping it on purpose, even after the paycheck stops mattering. You're closing in on the airport now. You ask him the last question, because you have to. What do you actually spend money on? He laughs the first real laugh of the ride. Almost nothing interesting. Health insurance, property tax, my grandkids' 529 accounts. New tires when the old ones wear out. No boat, no third house, no supercar sitting under a cover in a garage he visits twice a year. He tells you the single biggest purchase he's made since the sale was a $6,000 kitchen renovation because his wife wanted better counters, and he figured after 40 years of marriage, better counters had been earned. Here's move 3, and it's the one that ties the whole ride together. He made his money boring on purpose, the same way he made his post-sale life boring on purpose. Not because he's cheap. Because volatility in spending, in identity, in what a Tuesday looks like, is the thing that actually erodes wealth and peace at the same rate. Everybody wants the exciting version of rich, he says, pulling up to the terminal. Exciting is expensive, boring is free, and it compounds. You go to tip him something absurd, he waves it off. Says the app tip is plenty. Says, if you want to actually thank him, remember this ride the next time you're about to make a loud decision with quiet money. You get out at departures. He pulls away, back into weekend traffic, off to his next fare some stranger who has no idea they just got driven to the airport by a man worth $30 million, wearing a quarter zip from a store that went out of business years ago. You sit at your gate and you can't stop thinking about it. Not the number, the choice. Walter didn't need the ride money. He needed the version of himself that existed before the number got big. The guy who liked knowing exactly where things stood, who liked driving, who liked being boring on purpose in a world that keeps insisting rich people should be loud. The real twist of this story was never the $30 million. It's that having it changed almost nothing about how he actually lived, because he decided a long time before the money existed exactly what kind of person he wanted to be with it. Somewhere in your city right now, there's another Walter, driving your next rideshare, bagging your groceries, sitting 2 cubicles over. And the only way you'll ever know is if you ask the right question at the right moment, the way you almost didn't today. You board your flight. Somewhere behind you, a gray sedan pulls back into traffic, off to the next fare, carrying $30 million quiet dollars nobody will ever notice.